catch you with these arms that hold me back against this wall. Release me from these chains that hold me fast. You see, there's a light at the end that I'm running to. If you hold my hand, then I'll show you there's a lot more waiting for us all at the end of the road.
You know, I remember loving Rudolph as a kid. And I guess if I'm really honest with you, I still do. I love Rudolph. Growing up, I always felt like a misfit. I felt misunderstood, and so I had this kinship with Rudolph. You know, his dad trying to get him to be a little more normal, to fit in a little better. I really feel that with Rudolph. Now that I'm older, though, I really think I even understand Rudolph more. I am a misfit. Maybe you are too. This year, we are all going to be on the Island of Misfit Toys during Advent. Each week, we are going to unravel maybe our own preconceived notions about the story of Jesus. Maybe some of you remember Adam Fambro. Do you remember Adam? He used to work with us here at the Search and with our college students. And when Adam was interviewing for his job, I said, "How would you describe the Search community?" And he said, "I think they're the Island of Misfit Toys." And that has always stuck with me because I have never, ever forgotten that. I think really those that come here and make an effort to come on a Sunday evening are misfits. We do things just a little bit different than everyone else. We gather here, some of us still unsure how we fit, but certain always that there's a way towards a path of hope. I like that very, very much. And I think we're in good company. Tonight, we are going to look at a major misfit in the birth story of Jesus. We're going to look at his mother, Mary. Mary, Nazareth girl, what did you know of ethereal beings with messages from God? What did you know of men when you found yourself with child? What did you know of babies, you barely out of childhood yourself? God-chosen girl, what did you know of God that brought you to the stable, blessed among women? Could it be that you had been ready, waiting, listening for the footsteps of an angel? Could it be that there are messages for us if we have the faith to listen? Maybe you have already located the puzzle piece. You've been playing with it, right? You haven't tried to unstick it yet, have you? You need that cluster. We told you that you did. Well, now would be a really good time to grab that and a marker or a pen that is near you. Like misfits, puzzle pieces don't always make a lot of sense on their own. They all look different. Some have smooth edges. Some are rough. Some are kind of lumpy. The peeling is coming off a little bit. And some are just lonely. They don't really fit anywhere, but you try to make them fit anyway. Right? You just shove it in there because you're too tired to try to figure it out. Right? Together, though, these puzzle pieces make up the pieces of a whole big, beautiful image that somehow just comes together in the end. And even if they never come together with their whole, the great thing about puzzle pieces is the big picture is still there. It's still part of what we yearn to be. Right now, I would like for you to consider what makes you feel misfit in your work, in your relationships, in your lifestyle, in your faith. And then I want you to take that cluster of puzzle pieces and I want you to write on it. You can write the word, you can draw it if you like. This is a great way to not listen to the sermon, so I would take full advantage of that if I were you. What makes you a misfit? And write it on your puzzle pieces. And in a little while, we're going to do something with those puzzle pieces, so you have plenty of time to write that down. Mary is quite the misfit too. A teen, betrothed but not married yet. A teen chosen to carry the Savior of the world. A baby, but we'll get to that in a couple of weeks. Not exactly what her faith had taught her for sure. There isn't some messianic prophet that's coming with a whole legion of armies. It's a baby. How would she go out in the world? And I wonder what kind of conversation that she was going to have with her parents after the angel. How much they might have sought to cover up the evidence of her specialness, to keep it hidden. And not exactly the image I think that they were all hoping for when they are considered being rescued by God. A teen mom who will most likely be shunned by her community and her social order of things, forced maybe to live in hiding away from the social norms of the day, not too different from our misfit Rudolph. Knowing you are a misfit, knowing that to interact you must fit in, and so you have to hide who you really are. Rudolph's song that we had this evening is one of despair, but in our gospel from Luke that Frankie read for us earlier, we have hope. And if we read further, we have the Magnificat from Mary. Hear her song. I'm bursting with God news. I'm dancing the song of my Savior God. God took one look at me and look what happened. I'm the most fortunate woman on earth. What God has done for me will never be forgotten. The God whose very name is holy, set apart from all others. God's mercy flows wave after wave on those who are in awe. For God bared arms and showed strength and scattered the bluffing braggarts. God knocked tyrants off of their high horses and pulled the victims out of the mud. The starving poor sat down at a banquet. The callous rich left out in the cold. For God embraced the chosen child Israel and remembered and piled on the mercies, piled them high. It is exactly what God promised, beginning with Abraham and right up to now. You know, Mary is the only woman in the Gospel of Luke to have been given a full speech of proclamation. It is what I would call a great song of liberation. Liberation in the personal realm, the social realm, the moral realm, the economic realm. I think it is very revolutionary. Mary, this teen, this misfit, praises God's actions from within the marginal place of her world and our world. And she would know. Her song becomes precious for its simple fact that it gives a vision of how Jesus himself will turn our world inside out and upside down. In fact, she promises solidarity with those who suffer. And the point of her saying yes to God is not about being a teen who knew nothing, a lowly, insignificant member compared to the mighty God. It is more about how God looked upon her and helped her and us. Mary preaches in this song. She represents hope, and our author Luke conveys even here the good news of God through the way of Jesus Christ. The wholeness of the family of Jesus is not complete without each misfit member of the story. Just like our own faith community. I look out among you tonight, and I got to be honest with you, you really don't fit each other very well. I was thinking about you last night at 4:30. I was having a little anxious moment in my world, and I thought I can make it 12 more hours, and I get to be with people just like me. 12 more hours. That's what happens to me at, 4:30 in the morning. 12 more hours. I can make it. So I wonder, are we trying to make too much sense of how we fit in? Are we trying to make too much sense of this already manic season? I wonder, us misfits here, what do we know of ethereal beings with messages from God? What do we know of God? Or is it that as misfits, God is readying us for the footsteps of angels? Tonight, when you come for communion, I invite you to leave your misfit mess behind. Drop your puzzle piece and then partake of the feast of God where all are welcome. Red noses, teen moms, me, and you. For we proclaim the unspeakable joy that Christ will be born again. Thanks be to God.
See, I catch you with these arms that hold me back against this wall. Release me from these chains that hold me fast. You see, there's a light at the end that I'm running to. You hold my hand, then I'll show you there's a lot more waiting for us all at the end of the road.